Okay, so we're gonna move on from that small breakdown section and uh, start to structure out the main sections, I would call it, where the bass line is in, and just try and get a general feel for how that's gonna flow, and then we can sort of build from there. So I'm already copying over some more bars of this beat and bass line and vocal, which is the meat in our sandwich, as it were, that we can just add stuff on top of. So when this hits for the first time, I want there to be a bit of impact, so I'm gonna get an effect from our effects pack, crash. I just basically want a nice crash symbol. So we'll preview some. Just I'll do them in time with the music. Stop the music there. I quite like the feel of this. It's kind of lo-fi, which suits the groove of this. I don't want anything that sounds too sort of overproduced. I'm just keeping my effects together, and just get the volume down. And I think an extra little effect coming in on 4 bars in is going to help too, but something smaller sounding. This might work. Now there's an echo in that, so I have to be careful that that's going to fit. Yeah, I'm guessing that's originally at 128. So I'm going to do what I did with the vocal, and I'm going to time and pitch machine. And this is guesswork here, but I'm guessing these are at 128. I'm going to select beats only, because it's beats. And I have to say, this is just trial and error. Just see if this works. Okay. Listen to the two of them. Yeah, that works quite well. So I'm going to copy these out, and they're adding just a bit of ear candy, as it were, over the top of our main groove. And something that I'd like to try is getting some of these elements that we had and introducing them, not at the very start, because I just want the bass to have its full impact at the start, and just as the ear starts to get bored, we'll then think about bringing these extra elements in. I'm just gonna have a look at my automation and see what that's doing. I don't really want a great deal of the tape delay happening. It's really to make it spacier when we're in the breakdown section. Like this strings might be too loud. I'm just muting them just to see. Seems far too loud in that section. I'll see what it sounds like in the intro. Maybe a little bit too loud. Sounds okay now. I'm just going to mute those and you can see the difference. Yep, I like that. The question is, does it come in too early? We'll play back the sequence in a while and see how it's sounding. What is just jarring with me a little is the way this vocal is flowing here. I don't really like that. So I'm gonna remove that and use the material from the first pass, copy it over because I think it sounds better, but I will just listen back to it to make sure it's flowing.
Got to believe.
Yep, that's fine.
You got to believe.
I like this delay tail here that we can hear. I'm gonna hold on to that. I wonder if I can morph these two together.
You got to believe.
Doesn't really work.
You got to believe. You got to believe. You got to believe.
It sounds a bit rough as on its own, but it might sound okay with everything else. Not sure. I think.
You got to believe.
I'm just gonna try and see if I can put it over here somewhere. This is just to try and extend out the that sort of bit of atmosphere from the vocal. This is really useful material that can really fill out the mix. Just make it sound kind of lush. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm just going to listen back and just consider the whole structure of it. I'm just gonna get a little bit of that vocal, bring it over here. And what I want to do is introduce a rising effect, which is a fairly common sort of technique, just to do a build. So I'm going to look again in our effects pack here, and check atmosphere riser. I'm not sure it's the thing I'm looking for. We'll see. No, it's not. A bit too cinematic for this. Sweeps. Oh. Let's see. I need longer ones, so what I'm going to do is click size here, and click on the bigger file sizes. That might work. It's a bit full on. That's very close. I like that too. I'm going to drag that and the one I liked before, and see about both of them. See which one works better. So that works quite well. I'll try the other one and see. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the other one for later. See if I want to use it. Yeah, that's good. I still feel like now this is the third repeat of that sort of 8-bar sequence, and I feel like it still needs something more. I might load up an instrument and see if I can add something, just something a little bit extra. And we'll give Anna a go. And let's see. I want like a stab sort of sound. Let's see what there is. Yeah, it's quite stabby. I don't need lots of release on it. And I don't need the reverb. I'll add my own reverb. So let's see. So I want something like that. Just a little fill. I'll load up the MIDI there. It's very loose. I'll just go to 16th note and the sort of swing that we had with the bass line, which I believe is 58. Yep. It sounds okay. I think it's got. I think it has too much swing, really. It's not having the same swing for all MIDI parts in a sequence doesn't always work. Certain types of parts sometimes need different amount of swing. It's okay. I'm going to back off the swing even more. Yeah, that's nice. It's happening too many times though, and it'll just change the length of the clip so that it loops for half of the time that it did, or twice the time I should say. So it's just a wee fill, a bit of ear candy. I do like that sound, but it needs to be spiced up a little bit. I wonder would a phaser help? I think it would. So when it goes through that, when it goes through that little stuttery phase, the phaser could change the texture of the sound each time. I'm gonna turn up the rate so it cycles through its sort of phaser sound a bit faster. Bring the feedback back at. Okay. I'm going to bring the release right down so it sounds really stuttery, and maybe do a small decay and then bring the sustain down and then turn the whole thing up, and that will increase the impact of it, increase the sort of transient attack you'd call it. And I'm going to play around with the curves on the envelope as well. A bit more sustain for more presence. It's okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I want some delay on it though. I'm going to use my trusty tape delay. We'll see how this works. Maybe a little filtering of this just helps to filter out the low and high frequencies to separate your delay tail from the actual original sound. I want the delay tail to just feel like it's sort of traveling off into the distance. There's a cool little function if I open this triangle, distortion level can change, can add a bit of variation, make it sound a bit nastier. Now let's listen to it in the mix. Need more mids. I'm going to back off the distortion a bit. That's quite nice. Sounds like it's sitting nicely. I'll just back off the overall volume. With all this stuff going on, I feel like my snare and my hi-hats might be getting a bit lost. I'm going to boost my top loop a bit. Just a tiny bit, so like 1 decibel maybe. You'll find that for the bits that are the biggest part of your mix, like a lot of your drum elements, certainly the kick and the bass, small changes to volume make a big difference. The things that are in the background, more a decibel doesn't make much difference, but your kick, for example, a decibel or half a decibel can really have an impact. Just those louder elements in your mix. So I'm just listening back to the whole mix now, the whole sequence from the beginning. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. The only thing I'm missing as I'm listening back to the whole structure of it is that I do like this upsweep, and I wish I could have a smaller one that comes at the end of the first 2 8-bar sequences, a sharper one, you know, like a little reverse crash or something. So I'll just go back to our upsweeps, and as you saw before, I have them in order file size, so I'll go down to the smallest ones and see what they're like. That's the sort of thing I wanted. That isn't. I'll try this first one. See what it sounds like. I'm just sticking it onto the same channel that my other upsweep is on and see if it works. That's not quite long enough, really, as it turns out. Try this one. That's better. I'm just gonna zoom in on it because I feel like it's a little bit, yeah, it's falling a little bit short of the downbeat here, or basically the end of the bar here. So I'm just gonna tidy that up, make sure it's coming in at the right time. A little tip is the bottom I don't know what you would call this, scroll control. It's very, very crude when you're zoomed in, unless you have Alt held down, and then you get nice smooth control. So that's sort of handy. I only discovered that very recently. So that's going to be a bit smoother now. It was just leaving a little gap. I could hear it there. So. For me, just the very end of that sound, I've just soloed it. It's too much. It's peaking too much, and lessening the impact at the start of the next bar. So I'm just trimming that back a little bit. Actually, I'll use the scissors tool. It's just this. It's this this peak. You can see here where it's sort of maxed out. It's bothering me. Let's try it now. Yeah, that's not bad. Now, all that has made me suspicious of my other upsweep. Yeah, it's got a little gap at the end of the bar too, so we'll go in and fix that. I'll just move over. And a little more. There. and I'll just copy over this other sweep. Just make sure it's working.
You got to believe.
Yep, that's good. Okay, so I'll leave it there, and we'll move on in the next episode.